probably doing an incredible job of actually educating and bringing up the space and getting them comfortable with what you're doing, to where maybe 2 or 3 years from now, if and when they're ready, they can go for, more risky pieces.
Well, that's exactly, Brian, that's exactly what happens. And we're almost like a gateway to the space for these large institutional, large family office clients, because they all know something's going on here. If you're managing a $15-20 billion portfolio, you're watching all the markets. You're an asset allocator. You see the return. You see the alpha being created, but you can't really figure this out. And most of these guys will not invest in something that they don't understand, no matter what. They just won't do it. And that's a good discipline. So we do spend a lot of our time educating people. As I said, we write these 50-page investment memos to substantiate our positions in the funds and then in the companies. And then what we do is we offer our investors, and only our investors, co-investment. And so we'll do a few Zoom calls. We'll share the investment research. They go through it. And then I'll get on a few calls and explain it to them. And then they'll say, well, you know what? I kind of like this idea. And I'd like to, put a little more money into it. And again, most of the LPs in the fund are my friends, or people who are from my network, from my old world, and they're real investors. And they're either still, active, or they're running their own family offices, and they like being able to leverage up on certain names. They also like the fact that I only charge 1 in 10 for the co-invest versus 2 in 20 for the fund. And they love watering down their fees, but we do it as a perk for them, because it's also helping them learn more about the space. And so I think what you do see is that they make an investment here, and then they broaden their horizon. Then they maybe go to earlier stage investments. Maybe they invest directly in some of the cryptocurrencies. They open up their wallets on MetaMask, and they start staking their Luna or whatever it is that they're doing. They become more active in this world. And so you're absolutely right. But look, the crypto adoption worldwide is only 2%. Okay, only 2% of the world have crypto accounts or crypto wallets. We think it's sort of like 1997 in terms of the adoption of the internet, because it was back in 97 that 2% of the world had access to the internet. And what we do is we say, well, from 97 to 07, how fast was that rate of adoption of the internet? Well, it grew by 15 times. And so we have a chart that our LPs, all of them gravitate towards this, because if the adoption rate of crypto has been faster than the adoption of the internet was back then. But, if you follow the same path, you're looking at a space that's going to grow 15x from today. And we're at a $3 trillion ecosystem today. 15 times gets you to 45 trillion. Now, I'm not saying that's definitively going to happen. I actually thought something different, which is that, and 2 years ago, when I was coming up with the thinking behind this fund, I thought it was a $300 billion ecosystem. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do something really bold, something that I've never heard anyone do before, which is I'm going to put my view into the name of the fund. And so I said, it's 300 billion today. I'm going to say we're going to be a 30x from here in 10 years. So we said 10T in 10 years. So, I made a call that the ecosystem was going to be 10 trillion, like back then. And I nailed myself to that cross and said, I'm calling for a 30x, and I'm going to call my fund that. It was crazy, right? But you know what? We're going to end up being wrong, because it's 3 trillion today. It's already 10x in 2 years. And so 10T is not going to be right, because we're going to be well beyond 10T over the next 8 years. And so I think you're looking really more at like something like a 40T type of number.
And is it bigger, Dan? Is it bigger?
Well, it probably is bigger, but again, how much, how I don't want to, how crazy can you go?
But you,
And it's just like it's me, Dan Moorhead, and Mark Yusko. We did a panel a month or two ago,
at the
and
Salt
they asked
Conference,
us
right?
this question. And they started off with, "Oh, how many T can it go?" And Dan throws out 40 T, and Yusko throws out 30 T. And I was still thinking, okay, well, I called the fund 10 T, and whoa, I'm going to be the lowest guy out here. So I doubled my view to 20 T, but the reality is that you start sounding a little ridiculous. But look, that's the reality, right?
Yeah.
I think it's probably 40 T.
Is that the 10-year projection from today, roughly?
Yeah.
40T. Okay.
Well,
And go
yeah.
ahead. And
Well, it's just that I said if we use the comparison of the adoption of the internet over the next 10 years, right, you went up 15 times. So 15 times from today is 45, right? From 3 to.
but the right answer is probably 100T if you had a couple of drinks and we're honest with you.
Yeah, it probably is. But then people think you're crazy, and
Yeah.
you start talking about Bitcoin going to 1 million. And,
Right.
we just want to get investors to understand that they need to have a toe dip, that we have a broad, diversified exposure that we think is de-risked to the ecosystem. We're not trying to make 100x. We think we have risk controlled in a pretty manageable way. These are all more developed businesses, and just put something in here, just do a toe dip. And again, Wences Casares had that mantra for a while: get off zero. Just put 1% of your portfolio into the Bitcoin, into the crypto space, and get a toe dip. And so we're a toe dip for many people.